Welcome back to Delray Beach, Florida for the APP Vlasic Classic Delray Beach. We have some mixed doubles professional pickleball heading your way on a lovely Sunday afternoon here from Florida. Andre Daescu and Jill Braverman taking on Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio right here live on CBS Sports Network. You guys, we talked about these teams individually just a few minutes ago, but I want to talk about just the dynamic between mixed doubles partnerships like this, both of which are relatively new. What is the first thing you want to see about the communication?
Well, again, it's Braverman and Daescu are very new. You have Johnson and Tardio who train together.
Yep.
So it's not like they're unfamiliar with each other on the court, so there's a little more familiarity there. Now, Daescu and Braverman, even though they're newer, they've both been around a while. They know the dynamics of mixed doubles. Braverman knows to give Daescu that room where he can come over in front, take some of the balls that are in front of her so he can create. So she understands that there's not going to be much miscommunication, I think, on either side, but it's going to come down to who can execute the best here.
And Braverman, the only one of these four players on the court not based here in Florida at the moment. So I was catching up with her partner earlier today, and she said that these two have actually practiced matches together multiple times this week. So a lot of the sort of communication issues that you're just mentioning, Dom, expected to have worked themselves out earlier this week. Georgia Johnson, 17 years old, going to get us started with the serve.
Oh, just wide. You talked about Braverman giving Daescu room. Right there, she almost lost the left foot.
Yes.
Daescu making sure Braverman knows that one is sailing wide, and so it is going to be Braverman and Daescu with the first point of this mixed doubles gold medal match. Braverman, 34 years old, called Newport Beach, Florida home. Also spent some times out in the Palm Springs area.
Oh, nice get.
Oh, can't get that next one, though, but nice get from Braverman on that first one. You're going to have a very pro Georgia Johnson, Gabe Tardio crowd here, as this is pretty much in their backyard.
Yeah, so we've already seen a couple of misses from Tardio. He's going to try and make that adjustment of staying a little bit more compact, has extremely quick hands. But when you have somebody like Daescu on the other side of the court that gets everything back, you try to do more.
That's a good spot right there from Gabe Tardio. Braverman was anticipating the speed up, and to give Daescu room, she slides to the backhand. But what Tardio does is he keeps it just out of the reach of her backhand, or she doesn't get it clean.
Yeah, that's it right there. Another floating ball from Daescu to Tardio, and he just tries to get too big, and that's the issue with defense.
Quick little speed up there from Braverman, and Tardio ready for it.
See, and that's the battle I'm really interested in, is Braverman versus Johnson cross court. I give the edge a little bit to Georgia Johnson. She's more used to playing the right side. Braverman not as comfortable on that right side, so look for that cross court matchup between Johnson and Braverman.
That's where we saw the breakdown yesterday in women's doubles. It was on the forehand side of Georgia Johnson. Gets a little wristy. That one, paddle just flattens out. I'd like to see her be a little bit more aggressive with that dink. Find some comfort.
Is that aggressive enough for you right there?
That was aggressive.
Is it?
Another look here at the winner from Johnson.
A little bit easier to be aggressive on a ball shoulder high.
Yeah. There it was. She finally got aggressive with the forehand dink right there. Caused the pop-up from Braverman. But you're right, Chad. We saw it last night. She got very complacent in women's doubles and just got hesitant and tight.
Nice combination. Now, watching Johnson right there, it's more the open face cut dink that she's a little hesitant with. When she goes with that roll, that's where she can be a little bit more aggressive, put a little bit more pressure on, and she just needs to keep that same intensity when she goes to the open face. But a good step in there from Tardio and a good finish from Johnson.
This is where, too, so you saw Daescu and Jillian Braverman not uncoil on that stack right there when they were receiving and Braverman was returning serve. That's not bad for them because Braverman's so used to playing that left side.
Braverman leaving that dink just a little bit short.
That's all you.
That's on me.
That's all on you, Dom.
I'm sorry, Jill.
Braverman got a little caught up right there. The ball got into her feet. She was trying to hit it inside out, but she got jammed up by the body.
That's a good move from Daescu right there, trying to protect Braverman coming out of that uncoil, but it is a 4-point lead here for Braverman and Daescu.
So a timeout called on the court, breaking the action as it is Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio with a little lead here in game one. We'll be back on CBS Sports Network in just a minute. Earlier this week, the Fort and APP broke ground in Fort Lauderdale on what will become the premier pickleball venue in the world. Opening in the winter of 2024, the Fort will have 43 dedicated pickleball courts, 14 weatherproof courts, and the world's first pickleball stadium court. The Fort also going to serve as the APP's headquarters and training facilities and will host a number of APP events in the coming years. You saw Andre Daescu there at the groundbreaking. Dom, you there too?
Yeah, I was there. It was a great event, and that place is going to be phenomenal. Can't wait to get there.
It'll be middle of December. The tour will be there, and out of the timeout, Daescu and Braverman doing exactly what they need to do, forcing the side out, get the ball back on their side of the court, get a chance to cut into this 4-point lead. Georgia Johnson finishing the point with some sass there.
What a 1-2
sizzle.
combo from Georgia Johnson, but that was a typical Braverman Daescu point, playing great defense, working their way back to the kitchen line. But that's too much Georgia Johnson, and then same girl.
But that was going to be my question, right? So you have control of the point. You're hitting those overheads. You're hitting those elevated balls. But you're going at the guy that gets everything back and going cross-court with it. I would have liked to have seen Tardio go a little bit down the line.
Oh, that flick right in the middle and gets it to drop before the baseline.
But that's the controlled aggression that Tardio needs to have. He reaches in, and it's acceleration from the reach in. There's no take back on that. That allows it to give the shape, gets that ball to drop inside the baseline.
And that's what right there is going to be the spot. If Johnson and Tardio can pull Braverman really wide on that forehand dink, that's where she may struggle just a little bit.
Tim.
Braverman trying to get there with the overhead, but can't get the paddle on it properly. Sails deep.
I would like to let her. I would have liked to see her let
it bounce.
And let Daescu get that because it's directly over her head.
Oh, got away with one there. Daescu came over, took the first one, and then he started sliding away. Johnson tried to beat him down the line.
A step in there from Tardio, well placed.
But again, we've talked before about Georgia Johnson having one of the best third shot drops on the female side of the game because it's so aggressive, and that's exactly what that was right there. She had a good drop. Tardio read it well, came in and crashed.
Tardio and Johnson did win a bronze medal at the last APP Tour stop together in mixed doubles. Georgia is actually taking home a lot of hardware here in mixed doubles in the APP Tour. A pair of golds to start the season, and then the bronze in Miami with Tardio. Trying to double that up here.
So, and that's a good adjustment there from Andre Daescu. First speed up into the backhand of Georgia Johnson, and Tardio actually dropped that paddle down. So going into the right hip, it jammed him up.
Good adjustment off the tape from Johnson, but Daescu coming in big for the finish.
And now all of a sudden you're starting to hear Braverman a little more, and I think Tardio does too, as he calls a timeout here. Last thing you want to do is get Braverman a little more active.
So a timeout called here on the court by Tardio and Johnson as they try to stop the little momentum they're feeling on the side of Daescu and Braverman. Coming up next, get ready for a bucking bull battle as the best riders around the globe bring the heat to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. South Dakota, keep it here for PBR Unleash the Beast on CBS Sports Network. Talking about Jill Braverman and the intensity with which she brings to the game, I was asking her earlier, when did you develop that? How did you become that kind of player? Was it before you played tennis at Pepperdine? And she said, always. That has always been what I do when I'm playing. She loves the competitive aspect of the game. She didn't necessarily miss tennis when she was done with it, but she really missed the competitiveness. And that's how she found pickleball. And so she and her sister actually played tennis on pickleball courts, as in they didn't know how to score. They didn't know exactly how the game worked.
That's how most tennis players start on a pickleball court.
But that's how she got into the game of pickleball, and now just having a blast. Here on the APP Tour is Jill Braverman. She and Daescu trailing by 4 here in game number 1.
Well, just wide. We heard the wind start to pick up in the court mics right there. A little bit of a gust.
Yeah, that's a nice counter there from Tardio. He finally is able to get that ball down. We talk about that. You get in those hands battles, you got to get that ball down near the shins or the shoe tops. Oh, that was a aggressive return there from Georgia Johnson.
Well, that's the second aggressive forehand that she's hit. She had a nice drive with a slap forehand, and then that return, finding a little more confidence. Oh. Oh, we get going for a football. After all of that.
Braverman with a 360 in the middle of this point.
Georgia Johnson's defense is impeccable.
The get from her toes, I'm not sure how she got it.
What a rally that was.
Yeah.
That's another good flick there from Tardio. Sees the opportunity where he can reach in, flick with the backhand, goes to the right hip of Daescu, and that's one of the areas that we've seen him be a little bit more susceptible on because he likes to get so big in the middle and so extended with that reach.
What a short hop dig in the middle of that from Georgia Johnson off the tape. That ball had a ton of spin on it. She reset it perfectly, got them back in. Beautifully done by the youngster.
Sets up a game point opportunity here. Gabe Tardio, 18 years old, with the serve. Tardio with the strong angle on the forehand to finish the game and take it. Game number one goes the way of Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio, 11-5. Some fantastic rallies in the middle of this game. I think we're going to have more of them in game two. Stay tuned right here on CBS Sports Network.
Pickleball. They might be selling, I'm not sure. You might want one. Pickleballs in Delray Beach 3 for the pickleball. Stick around. APP, Vlasic, Classic, Delray Beach.
The AARP match spotlight this week was the Champions Division Women's Singles Gold Medal match here at the APP Vlasic Classic Delray Beach. Karen coaches took home the gold in straight games. 11-6, 11-6. Congratulations to Karen for a hard-fought win. Vlasic, let's take a look at some of our other AARP Masters and Champions winners, including Marcelo Jardim, brother of APP mainstay Simone Jardim, someone you know pretty well, Chad.
Happens to be my brother-in-law, yes.
So congratulations to all our winners. Back here on championship court, another team trying to join that list of winners who are going to be walking away with hardware of the golden variety here in Delray Beach. Game 2 underway.
Oh, too good there from Daescu. Got pressured, but was able to get on top of it.
2-0-2 for Braverman serve.
Yep.
The Ernie there from Gabe Tardio. Even Braverman has to give it a thumbs up.
Well, right there, it was a good pressure dink here from Georgia Johnson. She just pushed that out of the air, so she didn't give Braverman time to set up. She tries to reset down the line, Tardio with the Ernie.
Oh.
Braverman
Okay.
fired up after that one, and like we mentioned in game 1, she very much thrives on letting that emotion out here on championship court during a game in a match. Says it fires herself up, fires her partner up, and as you guys have said for this whole weekend, when she starts talking, that's when you know that she's feeling it.
Oh, he was in between right there with Daescu. It was a tough ball to speed up, but he already committed in his mind that he was going to speed that one up. Typically, he's just going to pull that ball back to the forehand side of Georgia Johnson.
Instead, forces them onto their second serve. Daescu with it.
Tardio hit an out ball right there. He was trying to put the pressure on, and that's a little bit of what Braverman does. Tardio was trying to answer it back and put this ball right into her chest.
So it's a 3-0 lead here for Daescu and Braverman as we get the ball back on the court here in Delray Beach. First time they have led in a game since the first game score was 1-0.
Oh, nice ball down the middle. Even if that doesn't clip the tape right there, that's going to be a winner down at the feet.
But that was set up by the ball out wide to Daescu, right? It takes him away from the middle, and you see that hole that it created. Johnson just threads it through the middle.
Around the post from Braverman, can't get the shape on it, so it'll be Johnson and Tardio getting on the board here in game 2.
It was tough. It was tight, but I think she could have gotten it, but she, like you point, Chad, she needed to go deeper down the line to the back corner.
He's trying to rush and get rid of that one there. Okay. Daescu with the double no call right there.
It was the first one was no to Braverman.
No, don't hit it.
Second one was no to himself. Don't hit it.
Double confirmation. Ball's out. Side out.
Good pressure from Gabe Tardio, making his presence felt there in the middle, not giving that ball up to Johnson. Goes right to the feet of Braverman.
Good adjustment there for Braverman to get the ball off the tape, but then Tardio just too quick with the response, and it's going to be a side out. No points added for Daescu and Braverman on that service side. hands
just
battle, just
wide.
barely going wide off the paddle of Georgia Johnson.
Yeah, she was sitting a little more backhand. You'll see it here. It was the swing and the miss where Tardio came over and took that backhand. She was still sitting on it. So late to the forehand, but she's not late on that one. Nice spot right in the middle there from Georgia Johnson.
And now it's going to be Johnson and Tardio with an opportunity to tie things up here in game number 2.
A little too much short hop right there, and yes, she hesitated whether she's going to take that ball out of the air, lets it drop, it gets right at her right foot.
That cross-court ding from Braverman falling short.
Tardio almost made a mistake there, letting that ball bounce. He was aggressive off the bounce, but recovered quickly. Got him.
Johnson keeping the pressure on and just gets that ball inside the baseline behind Daescu.
She tried it on the first one. Daescu got a paddle on it this time. Second time, he tried to close a little bit more middle, and Johnson went even further over the left shoulder.
Daescu using every inch of that massive, well over 6-foot frame to get on top of this ball.
That's what he does better than most. He'll reach in and be able to take that out of the air when most people have to let that bounce. Oh, surprise Tardio. He was sitting heavy backhand too, and then all of a sudden got jammed up at that right hip. Good spot there from Jill Braverman.
Andre Daescu, one of the taller pros we have here on the APP Tour. His dad played basketball for the Romanian national team.
Oh, what hands from Tardio. He just said, get that out of here with that little wrist flick, but he never took it back.
That's a do-or-die volley right there, because he's trying to time that up perfectly. And a good attack here from Daescu. That flick.
That one right
The
there.
hand didn't move. It was just all wrist.
Oh, Georgia Johnson now reading her partner, speeding that ball up, knows Tardio's where he's going to go. He's going to go at Daescu, knowing he's going to try and counter back at her. She's sitting on it, knows where the opening is. It's down the line.
So it'll be a side out here. Georgia Johnson with the serve. That ball's sailing just a little bit wide, so onto their second serve.
Yeah, it's a good reach in there by Daescu, catching Johnson while the feet was still moving through transition.
Braverman that time getting big right at the feet of Georgia Johnson. And it's going to be a side out. So this game already much tighter than game number 1. A lot of scoreless service sides here. Tardio opting to let that one sail behind him. Calls the ball out.
Just misses.
We may see a challenge here. I think that ball just missed, but it was close enough that we may get a challenge.
So a challenge, something new to the APP Tour in 2024, and they are going to use it. And Dom, you're kind of shaking your head because why not? So let's set it up first, though. So a challenge here on the APP Tour, you can only do it when the call ends the point. So because that ball was called out by Johnson and Tardio, ended the point, gives Braverman and Daescu an opportunity to challenge it. It goes to a video review, and that's what we have happening right now.
You couldn't have walked over, taken the ball, and put it down any closer to being in or out.
Hair's width on this one. It wouldn't surprise me if our video referee doesn't overturn this one and call it in. Lead referee Melody Woodson with the review.
After review, the call was in.
Yeah.
They have not lost a challenge. Daescu and Braverman has 3 remaining challenges. Tardio and Johnson has 3 remaining challenges. We proceed at the score.
Actually, Tardio and Johnson should only have 2.
4-2-1.
Yes, because they called it out and it was in, they would lose a challenge.
And what happens when you lose a challenge, you heard her say each of you have 3. But what that actually means is you have 3 until you're assessed a penalty. You have 3 incorrect challenges, and then you get assessed a penalty. See if that comes into play later in this match, but right now, Braverman and Daescu trying to use that call to their advantage.
Oh, good hands there from Tardio and good pressure. But going back to that call, or that last call that was just challenged, off the paddle, it looked like that ball was going 3 feet out.
Yep.
Wind caught it, pushed it down, just catches enough of the line.
Saw that a lot yesterday. Not that into the net from Braverman, but the drive from Braverman yesterday in women's doubles. She was very accurate with it. They were using it as a good shake and bake tool.
Braverman also going against Johnson in women's doubles here from Delray Beach. It was Johnson and her partner Millie Rain who took the gold there. Braverman trying to best Johnson today.
I mean, Tardio just clips the top of the tape right there. He's all over that speed up. Read it well.
This time she gets it around the post, waits for it to develop a little bit longer, goes a little bit deeper in the court with good shape.
Beautiful shape on that ball.
That one's out.
No doubt about that one.
So pushes them on to their second serve for Daescu and Braverman. Johnson and Tardio are just relentless with their attack.
Well, again, Georgia Johnson just putting a ton of pressure on Andre Daescu, and eventually one got higher and higher and higher that Tardio was able to step in and then just finish it. Great control from Georgia Johnson, not trying to do too much with each of them, keeping them in play and putting enough pressure on to get the final high ball.
Came out of her legs when she went to speed that one out. She had the good reach, but right at contact she stood up, so it ends up catching the top of the ball. It flattens out, goes into the top of the net.
Oh, good pressure dink again from Georgia Johnson. She's got Braverman 2 or 3 times with that hard pressure dink at the right foot. If she can find that spot right at the kitchen line at the right foot of Braverman, that's where she's found some success.
Tardio and Johnson tie us up here with the same controlled attack we've seen throughout this entire match.
But they have made the switch, right? And Tardio is no longer saying, hey, Daescu, I'm going to try to beat you with my attack. He's now going at Braverman, and he's getting it to her feet.
Until he
just
goes
do
cross
that one.
court
You know
behind
what?
Daescu.
But again, right there, that's the short part of the court, right? So that's a hard spot to hit. So where was Daescu covering? Right down the middle. Look where he's standing. Finds the sideline.
Just rips that cross court. The backhand beautifully placed, and it's a 5-4 lead for Johnson and Tardio. Tonight at 6:30 Eastern, join our college hoops experts in the studio for the latest tournament updates as they get you ready for Monday night's championship action on March Madness 360 right here on CBS Sports Network. Great crowd filling in here on Championship Court. Perfect afternoon to be watching some pickleball here in Florida. VIP area, one of the favorite spots to be on a tournament weekend. And especially with a match like this. If you're new to the game of pickleball, this is about as great of duos as you can get here. The level of play, so excellent. The strategy, I feel like, really coming into play here in this match.
Well, yeah, there's a reason these teams have punched their ticket here to Championship Sunday. So consistent are all four of these players. And right now, my X factor was the cross-court dinking with Johnson and Braverman. It's come down to it a little bit at times, but it's been more about hands battles here in this matchup, too.
Tardio with the serve. That ball out of bounds off the paddle of Tardio. And it'll be a side out.
He's not going to miss that very often. That was shocking.
It was, and I think he was expecting it to be a little bit firmer than the ball got to him. We saw him just stand up right in the motion there, and we talk about that a lot, right? Standing up through the motion rather than staying down, executing all the way through. Again, right
Same
there.
thing.
You have to have that solid base, and you have to keep that body over because then the arm follows that lift, and you don't get the extension you need.
Man, that is massive overhead. He's jumping, too, so he's making himself 8 feet tall.
But remember this time last year when we were talking about the Daescu overhead, he was hitting everything down into the court and wasn't putting a ball away. The adjustment now is he's hitting it through the court.
Daescu, the player with the most gold medals on the APP Tour in 2023, and terrifying to think how he's even evolved his game, Dom.
And what Chad's talking about down, when he hits down, he was hitting down on the court.
Making
he's making the ball
balls
bounce in the kitchen. Now he's hitting through the court where more of those overheads are hitting more towards the baseline now. Oh, in between right there, whether we want to take it or not. He's gone with a different paddle today, too. Yesterday he was using the pink and yellow. Today he's got the pink and blue.
Daescu leaving that dink short, and when you guys talk about why it's rare to see him make a technical error like that, what do you attribute that to? Is it something Tardio and Johnson are doing?
Well, actually, right now they're changing speeds on a lot of the balls that they're hitting to Daescu.
Around the
thought she
post
wasn't gonna
from
catch
Jill
up to it.
Braverman, just perfectly executed. She's feeling it.
Yeah, I didn't think Braverman was going to catch up to this one. She had a little bit of a stumble step, but that actually helped get that ball even further away so she could bring it back on the angle, and a good reach in there.
Strong forehand off the paddle of Braverman, and now it's a side out opportunity for her and Daescu to tie things up here. But let's take a look at that around the post. Whew.
Beautifully done by Braverman. Like you said, Chad, maybe even that little stumble step helped. Let the ball travel a little further. Oh, got away with one right there. Georgia Johnson's not going to miss that one right there. Off the edge guard of Daescu, pops up. Johnson wasn't expecting it.
And it's a tie game here in game number 2 of our mixed doubles gold medal match. That ball is sailing well deep. off the LED board behind us. Or behind Tardio, I should say.
Tardio getting caught standing up a little too tall there. But a good adjustment by Braverman, going forehand, backhand. Not allowing him to get set on that counter. Ooh, that's what we saw yesterday.
Yep,
the breakdown of the forehand side.
She swept through it, right? So instead of being firm with that wrist, she sweeps through it right there. And as she sweeps through it, that ball gets away from her, goes wide. And so exactly what you said, Chad, that's what we saw last night in women's doubles. Now she just got to hone it in a little bit.
So Gabe Tardio and Georgia Johnson call a timeout on the court. Andre Daescu and Jill Braverman are on a 3-0 run right now to get themselves in this 2-point lead situation. They started this second game with a 3-0 lead after trailing for almost the entirety of game 1 and falling 11-5. In our best 2 out of 3 games to 11, of course that means Braverman and Daescu have to win this one in order to force us to that game 3. Out of the timeout, Chad, what do you want to see Braverman and Daescu do to keep their momentum going?
Well, keep the pressure on right now and look for the attack. Braverman has gotten Tardio a couple of times going that forehand, backhand. I think, stick with it till they fix it. If Tardio can make the adjustment and Johnson can make the adjustment, then yes, you change your tactics. But right now, Daescu's doing a good job of stepping in. Braverman is testing the hands of Tardio.
Oh, it was slower than she thought. She was ahead of it. It's a huge changeup. Pull the string on it right there, Gabe Tardio.
So it's a side out. Gabe Tardio with the serve.
Again. Tardio is doing a good job countering, but what Braverman is doing is she's not over swinging on the second ball. It's almost like a mini reset where the ball then gets down.
Yeah, again, there's that pressure, right? It was pressure enough with the first one that she got the second one up higher, and she rolled it even harder. Braverman was looking for the speed up in the middle. That's a dink winner.
Georgia Johnson with the serve and an opportunity to tie things up here in game 2.
Ooh,
Daescu missing the forehand into the net.
Yeah, and Daescu's done that a couple of times. So the reason why he missed that one there, he's taking the ball through the middle. He's going to attack Johnson. So he's trying to slide back to the line to then be able to hit the second ball with the backhand. But he just didn't execute the first ball, tried to get to the second ball.
So Johnson and Tardio tie things up before giving the ball back to Daescu and Braverman. And now it's Andre with a chance to take the lead, but that serve sailing long. Another rare mistake from Daescu.
No, that was ambitious right there from Braverman. I know she's gotten the last 2, but that one really wasn't as wide.
Well, and it bounced further in the kitchen there. It wasn't as close to the sideline, so didn't really develop outside the post.
Now, do I mind it on serve? No, you don't give up any points. If she's going to be aggressive there. Georgia Johnson being a little overly aggressive, missing the sideline there.
Little flip there from Braverman. Well timed, well placed. Tardio can't get it back over the net.
Yeah, ball in that paddle got back behind the body there. Tardio just needs to make the adjustment of bringing the paddle further out in front of the body. He's not getting beat by pace, he's getting beat by depth.
Some great digs there by Braverman, but again, Tardio just doing a good job of changing the spot of the ball. Finally gets it to the feet of Braverman. Can't get it back on the bounce.
She was sitting forehand. Hit a forehand, was sitting forehand, watching to see if Daescu was going to be able to make the adjustment off the net cord. He did. Jammed her up.
Making the motion there, Chad. What did you like about that point from Braverman?
No, I mean, it's a decent speed up right there. Johnson was on it, but she just flicked the wrist at it. And that's where Braverman has been putting the pressure on, and in reality, they haven't been the best speed ups, but it's been enough of a surprise to kind of throw the timing off of Johnson and Tardio.
So Johnson and Tardio call a timeout here on the court with Braverman and Daescu sitting at a game point opportunity here. A massive moment for the two of them because they lost game 1, have to win game 2 if you want to force a game 3 and keep that hope of a gold medal alive here in Delray Beach. Out of the timeout, Dom, what do Braverman and Daescu have to do to keep the momentum going?
Keep the foot on the pedal right here. Don't let up. I want to see a good third shot drive here. I want to be aggressive right out of this. I'm not dropping this ball. I'm driving this ball. I'm going to try and put some pressure on right away. Force the youngsters into possibly a mistake, possibly a pop-up, possibly a fourth ball in the net. But I'm coming out of the gate right here as Andre Daescu gets back on court. Forgot he had the towel on him. But, yes, I'm coming out. Third shot drive right out of the gate. See what we can do with some pressure. Possibly end it here.
And, Chad, what do you want to see from the youngsters to try and get that momentum back on their side?
Honestly, right now, just focus on taking that ball out in front. Get into a little bit better athletic position. It's going to land in.
Wow, she almost got that one right there, but huge save right there from Johnson and Tardio.
A game point defended for Gabe Tardio, and now a chance to cut this lead.
Ooh.
Foot fault called on Braverman. Can't stand on the kitchen line, so our lead referee telling her left foot was on that kitchen line.
Not a challengeable call.
Yep.
Left toe was on the line.
So a point for Johnson and Tardio.
Oh, it's in. Oh, somehow, I don't know how that ball stayed in. I think that the wind maybe blew it back onto the line. We went from Johnson and Tardio being in control of that point to Braverman and Daescu fighting their way back into it.
Wow, Georgia Johnson getting sneaky behind Daescu right there, causing the pop-up and the put-away. And before they could even get a chance to tie it up, Daescu and Braverman going to burn a timeout here at 9-10.
Understandably so, because in a game where you must win by 2, it is critical for Daescu and Braverman to hold the line here. If Tardio and Johnson manage to tie us up at 10-all, then it hits that win by 2 situation. And you always like to finish a game in 11.
I mean, right here coming out of this timeout, I mean, it doesn't get any tighter than this right now, right? You're at 9-10-2, right?
Yep.
So if you score, tied up, win by 2. If you don't score, Braverman and Daescu are going to not only have 1, but 2 opportunities to end this second game and force a third game. So no point bigger than this one right here for Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio.
Daescu and Braverman looking for their first gold medal together as a duo. If they want to keep that dream alive, they've got to win game 2 here. How do Johnson and Tardio respond out of the timeout? That is the question. Georgia Johnson with the serve and the answer.
Oh, that's not the answer.
So tight with that third. It was at his body, didn't get extended, jammed himself up.
So game point opportunity here. Jill Braverman goes cross court with the forehand winner to take game 2 over Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio. So let's go to a game 3, shall we, to decide who brings home the gold in mixed doubles. We'll be right back on CBS Sports Network.
Daescu and Braverman taking down the team of New Orleans in the semi. They also knocked out Brendan Lane and Emily Ackerman. Jack Monroe and Laurie Hubbard were other victims. And taking a look at our squad of Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio, they knocked out J.W. Johnson and Billy Ray in a family affair. Brendan Long and Oshiro were knocked out by James Johnson and Billy Ray, but on the other side it was Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio knocking out St. Cola and Fudge in the quarters. They also knocked out Jack Foster and Shelby Bates. On their way here to Championship Sunday in this gold medal match, we're going to take one more game to 3 to decide our 4th of 5 gold medals here at the APP Vlasic Classic in Delray Beach. One more to go after this one, men's singles. And it's a dandy. Stay with us.
The veterans, Jill Braverman and Andre Daescu, refuse to back down in game 2 of our mixed doubles gold medal match, and they force a decisive game 3.
Well, they came out swinging. They were hot and heavy here in game number 2. Decided to take it to Tardio and Johnson, and that's exactly what got them the victory there in game 2, tying it up 1 game apiece. It's game 3 for the gold medal here in Delray Beach.
Things you love to see. Everything on the line here on this Sunday afternoon. How do Gabe Tardio and Georgia Johnson respond to the game 2 loss? They took game 1 11-5, so they know they have the ability to take down Braverman and Daescu. It's a matter of getting back to what worked in game 1. Daescu getting back to something that we've seen him do all too often. Beautiful shot there.
Well, it's aggressiveness right away.
And the Ernie from Andre Daescu, perfectly executed.
Well, again, a little bit of hesitation there for Tardio. He was going to reach in, decided to let the ball drop, didn't get behind it fast enough and floated it up.
So wind is really a factor here. It's at the back of Braverman and Daescu. It's picked up. It did at the end of game 2 and now continues into game 3 here. So in the face of Johnson and Tardio.
Georgia Johnson running through with the forehand to set up Tardio for the put away.
She splits the kitchen. Last point, big forehand. This one comes forward again, big forehand. That's the tempo that they need to have and the intensity.
So that's what I want to see a little more of. And Johnson did it a little bit. Need to mix in a couple more balls behind Daescu. They're trying to focus too much on Braverman and keep Daescu out of the middle. Go behind him a couple times. Keep him honest. Get him out of the middle.
We saw Tardio do that a time or two in game 2, but going to have to see more of it if they want to come out with the win here in game 3. Right now it's a side out. Andre Daescu with the serve.
Oh, got a little overly aggressive there. Did Andre Daescu. First one good. Second one he was just overextended.
Well, I mean, that is a good attack.
Yes.
Tardio just was able to flick it back behind him. Difficult to do there for Tardio.
That's a nice ball from Johnson, finding the sideline on the counter. But why is that successful? One, wind's in their face, so that ball dies. But Daescu pinched so hard in the middle to get that third shot drive that he was just enough out of position.
Johnson again with the aggressive forehand. And it gets them on the board here in game 3.
Braverman questioning right there whether that ball was again. Potentially going to the shorter side of the court. She also slid to the middle a little bit there as well. Oh, that's hesitation. I think she thought about speeding it up at Tardio right there. Knew that the ball was a little too tight and middle of the body. She wasn't going to be able to put a good swing on it, so just bumped it, but ended up bumping the ball up. Perfect height for Tardio. That ball
just missing off the tape and going wide.
So pushes Johnson and Tardio onto their second serve. Another look here. Tardio with the serve. Around the post from Tardio. Well executed. Braverman was there, but couldn't get the ball back over the net.
Yeah, almost defended, but he hits this with authority. Catches a little bit of the edge guard of Braverman's paddle.
Change up from Tardio on the first speed up. And that was done on purpose. He did not take a full swing at that. He created some shape, got a downward angle, and allowed his partner, Georgia Johnson, to come in and get the winner.
And just like that, Daescu and Braverman decide to burn a timeout here early on in game number 3, trailing by 3 to Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio. What do you like about the way that the younger duo, Johnson and Tardio, 17 and 18 respectively, how they have come out and handled their business here to start game 3?
Well, part of it is what you said, Dom. They're starting to go behind Daescu a little bit, but it's also that they're putting the pressure on Braverman. Johnson has started to take that ball into the feet of Braverman, then able to pull it out a little bit wider, and it's creating the pop-up. Tardio is reaching in. He's in a better body position. He's not standing up. So that's enabled them to be able to be a little bit more aggressive.
Oh, she jumps it back over.
Good body control from Georgia Johnson right there. Shares a laugh with partner Gabe Tardio here.
Playing a little bit of hopscotch right there. Did I just date myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, right there. And it's kind of flipped here because exactly what Daescu and Braverman did in game 2 and just continued to bring the pressure. Now it's all Tardio and Johnson bringing the pressure, and they're not stopping.
My question is going to be, can Johnson and Tardio keep up the intensity? And they're going to have to battle a couple of storms because you know Daescu and Braverman aren't going to roll over and die. But are they going to be able to keep it together and not stumble coming down the end here like we saw in game 2 when it was close?
Well, we saw, right, in game 2, Braverman got active, Braverman got loud. What have they done here in game 3? They've brought it together. They've quieted her down. She hasn't said much in this game. We know that's what she feeds off of, and Daescu will feed off of her. They've quieted it at 6-1. That's a good lead going in the end change.
It's only going to take one, though. You know that if Braverman
wins a hands
battle, or there's a ball that's hit at her that goes out, she's going to give the stare down.
And it's going to be very loud.
It's going to be loud.
Tardio with the serve here.
Wow.
What a battle.
Yes.
Who said pickleball's not quick?
Yes. Love it. That is a epitome of a firefight.
Oh, he just missed it deep. That was a perfect move.
Tardio.
Flattened out. Daescu knew it was out of the paddle.
Just missing the baseline, and a timeout called here by Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio. They have a 7-1 lead here in game number 3. And reminder, as soon as this one is over, we're not done playing pickleball here from Delray Beach. We have men's singles action coming your way next. Georgia's brother J.W. Johnson taking on Chris Hayworth to decide who brings home the gold medal here from Delray Beach. So stay right with us on CBS Sports Network. After this mixed doubles action, my goodness, we've had firefights, we've had some Ernies, we've had some beautiful executions of shots here by all of these teams, and
got some youngsters in the crowd watching.
The next generation of pickleball stars making sure that they are locked in and ready, because if you want to become a pro, you're going to have to go through players like the ones you're watching right now.
I was a little surprised at the timeout.
That was a challenge. That's what I was curious.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they were going to take a timeout that quickly. They challenged it. So now we're going to go back to the video referee for the challenge.
All right, so we're going to see a review here of Tardio's shot that Braverman and Daescu called a little bit long. We didn't have a great angle on it from our broadcast booth, but don't you fret. We've got cameras all over the place covering every inch of this court. So they will get that dialed up, and then video review.
Yeah, it's way up.
Yep.
Looks like it's
Well,
going.
now they get a double timeout. They're going to try to make this quick because they just.
Yeah.
You've lost the challenge. We will resume play. The Johnsons have 2 remaining challenges. Johnson and Tardio have 2 remaining challenges. Daescu and Braverman have 3 remaining challenges. The score coming back in is 1-7-1 with Ms. Braverman serving. 15 seconds.
Well, actually, it'll be Daescu serving at 1.
Okay, so Andre Daescu going to get the action back underway here in game 3, trailing by 6. What can Daescu and Braverman do? How about start with a big serve?
Not do that.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, you cannot give Daescu and Braverman any freebies. A good reach in there from Daescu.
That's constant pressure right there from Tardio, but again, good control. He didn't get out of control in the first two. Knew they were going to come back, but knew eventually he'd get a higher ball.
Oh, it's over. Oh, Tardio did not get beaten on that one, but how about the around the post from Georgia Johnson? When she started the motion, I thought, no way that is even there.
See how long
but she
waited?
just held it, hold it. Good defense from Daescu as well, just to keep him in the point.
So Braverman and Daescu get 2 points back, but the ball now back on the side of the court of Tardio and Johnson. They have a chance to extend their lead. Instead, Daescu, a little sneaky. Looks like he was going to absolutely punish that ball, then changes the pace.
Well, yeah, and he hit a perfect spot, too, right in between Johnson and Tardio. They both end up going for it.
7-3-2, the score for Johnson's serve. Daescu knew that ball was sailing wide, pretty much off the paddle. So a scoreless serve aside for Johnson and Tardio. Another opportunity for Daescu and Braverman.
Oh. Daescu, I love it. The body language when he misses a shot.
You heard Tardio try to call Johnson off the ball there.
It was tough. It was late.
So a point for Braverman and Daescu.
What was I saying?
Exactly.
Before the end change.
Don't give him an inch.
Or at the end change.
Because right now that inch looks like it is turning into a mile. What was once a 7-1 lead has now dwindled to just 2. Braverman and Daescu are on a run.
That's good pressure there from Georgia Johnson. Because, again, she takes it out of the air, and that ball was dying, too, into the wind.
So a side out here, Gabe Tardio with the serve.
Got to score here.
Oh, wow.
Daescu and Braverman can't believe it. Georgia Johnson, how does she pull this off? Oh,
off the end of the paddle with Tardio swinging at the ball as well.
If he hits her paddle, that ball goes out.
Well, his paddle was actually in front. It's shaded where the ball was going off of the paddle of Johnson. Just like that. Back up by 4. Momentum shift.
The big Mo shifting again here.
It's been all about the momentum swings here in game number 3. It started on the side of Johnson and Tardio, and then Braverman and Daescu in the middle of this game finding their rhythm. But now the 17 and 18-year-old are 2 points away from taking the gold medal in mixed doubles here at the APP Vlasic Classic Delray Beach. Out of this timeout, what do you want to see Johnson and Tardio lean into about their game to finish this off?
Swinging away right here, especially on this point. They're still on first server, so you got second serve in your back pocket. This ball right here, this third shot, I'm going for it. If it's anything inside of the baseline where I can step into, I'm going for it. If not, I may drop it. But if I have an opportunity here, I'm going to go for it, put some pressure on, and where I'm going to go at Braverman. Not going to go at Daescu. His hands are so good. I'm going to go right at Braverman with a drive if I can. It was deep. Wow!
And exactly like you wanted it, Dom, right there. Gabe Tardio with authority. The Ernie right between Braverman's legs sets up a championship point opportunity here for Gabe Tardio and Georgia Johnson.
Tough. A little too aggressive there with the movement from Tardio. Can't blame him, though. You're up 10-5, championship point.
And now it's second serve. Georgia Johnson with the championship point opportunity. Just can't get the roll on the dink.
Will not lay down.
How about Braverman, too, on the speed up from Georgia Johnson? Just swatting it back.
Uh-oh. Daescu's getting loud now, too.
So it's a 4-point lead now for Johnson and Tardio. Daescu and Braverman trying to put together a comeback.
That's 2.
Starts with 2 points just like that, and a timeout quickly called by Tardio and Johnson. They had 2 championship points defended by Daescu and Braverman. And now, where do you think Big Mo is right now, Dominic?
Well, all of a sudden, he keeps switching sides.
I don't know.
Is he in the middle?
Right now, it's sitting right on top of the net.
Depends on which
way this point goes.
Depends on which way this one goes.
It's just fluttering in the wind, waiting to see. Poised at the top of the net.
Honestly, right now, I think Tardio and Johnson need to go at Braverman. Return to Braverman right now. Force her to hit a good drop, even if it allows Daescu to come forward. Right, Daescu comes forward, gets big in the middle, allow Braverman to hit the drop. You go back behind Daescu. You have to try to keep him out of the middle of the court. Right now, last couple, Daescu's gotten the return. He's hit a good drop. He's stepped forward, put the pressure on. That's it right there. Pull it out wide. Braverman jumped into the ball.
Yeah, like if she stayed sat, she's there. Oddly enough, she jumped right into that.
That's it right there. Again, force Braverman to hit it. Daescu's going to come forward, try to be big. If it's not perfect, now he's in a tough situation.
So the timeout serving its purpose and halting the rhythm of Daescu and Braverman. And now Georgia Johnson can win the gold medal with this serve. Gabe Tardio and Georgia Johnson, controlled, collected, relentless to win the gold here in mixed doubles at the APP Vlasic Classic Delray Beach. We're going to hear from that duo when we return right here on CBS Sports Network. What a matchup. Don't go anywhere. Men's singles after the interview.
Georgia Johnson and Gabe Tardio golden here in Delray, Chad.
Well, they battled the storm and the comeback attempt from Daescu and Braverman, but an excellent performance from the youngsters. We're going to throw it down to AJ McCord for our post-match interview.
An impressive victory here for Gabe Tardio and Georgia Johnson. Your first gold medal together as a team here in 2024 on the APP Tour. Gabe, how did you guys get it done?
I don't know. It was a very tight match, all 3 games, and I think we just got lucky on a couple balls that bowl Georgia hit. I think it was 7-5. It was amazing, and I think that was one of the big factors. And we just keep rolling and until we get to the 11, and yeah.
And Georgia, there were some moments in each of those games that you and Gabe had that it seems like you were so poised. And even though you're both on the younger side of the APP Tour players, how have you guys developed that trust with each other to pick those spots?
I think just practicing a lot together and really trusting our shots. Of course, we both, though young, have played a ton of tournaments, and that definitely helps just having that experience and trusting each other, good partnership.
You took the bronze in Miami. What does it mean to upgrade that medal color to gold?
Gabe was just talking about this last interview. We've gotten bronze the last 3 tournaments we played together, and we were really thankful to get a different color. I told him gold's more my color, so.
Okay, Gabe, what about for you? Gold your color?
For sure, yeah.
Congratulations. Let's just get you guys your gold medals for mixed doubles here at the APP Vlasic Classic Delray Beach. Chad, Dom, send it back to you.
Well, Georgia Johnson hit it on the head, Chad. They may be young, but they have been around the block as far as tournaments go, and they are no strangers to championship Sundays.
No, and Georgia Johnson already has a Triple Crown under her belt here. So a good redemption for Tardio and Johnson after taking bronze in Miami.